Morning, Monday the 20th of October, and in the last video I said pray for rain. Well, we've got rain all right. It's been very heavy, and it looks as though it's going to be on and off for the rest of the day. So I wanted rain, I got rain. So yeah, it is what it is. So today, well, this week's a lawn care week. So the plan for today is 3 houses to do some lawn maintenance and feed them and give them an autumn feed. Now, traditionally on these lawns, I've always done a hollow tine aeration. However, because of some of the lawns being burnt up and this, that, and the other, I have basically been taking the scarifier as well, and then just looking at them and then judging which one would be more beneficial. In some cases doing a bit of both, but essentially that's kind of how I've been doing it. So what's happened is, because it's raining, I'm still going to crack on because I am running out of days between now and Christmas. However, the rain has sort of forced my hand, so we're definitely not going to scarify, so I don't need to take the scarifier with me. The plan would be to hollow tine, but if it gets a bit too soggy, then I might just solid tine. So you know, it's the punching the holes isn't the problem, it's the clear up, which is the problem when the cores get all sticky and messy and stuff. So we'll really just play it by ear. If it kind of stops raining soon enough and then we get there and it hasn't really rained, then we'll hopefully be able to get away with it. But something is better than nothing. Okay, so while loading, the rain, turn this Jonathan Ross, the rain has got heavier. So I mean, this is too wet to do any aeration in, and I wouldn't really want to feed in this either. So what we'll do is I'm just gonna have a look at the weather map and then see if there's any possible gaps. I mean, if this was to stop now and then it, you know, leave it dry, you know, still got to get to the properties and that, it's possible. I've got another trick up my sleeve which might involve the White House, which tends to be the one I go to when it's raining, just to try and get some stuff ticked off the books, but we shall have to see. Okay, familiar picture here. So I went to the road where I should have been working today, and essentially it was like this, probably a little bit worse actually when I got there. I looked at the weather and it was going to be, sorry, I've just sprinted across the garden, I'm knackered. It was going to be ridiculously heavy rain mixed with heavy rain and the odd bit of light rain and then heavy rain. So I was just like, this just isn't going to work today. So yeah, I've come to this one. So essentially what I've been doing is just doing some blowing. There's lots of needles and leaves down and things like that, so it's a worthwhile job. I'm just taking shelter when the rain gets really heavy, and then what I will do is, actually that's worked out quite well, because I've got a little, if the weather allows, a tiny little renovation job that I need to do. I did the back lawn in the springtime, and I said to them I won't do the front till the autumn, because my fear was that they probably wouldn't water their lawn enough. They certainly wouldn't water both lawns enough if they were having to move the sprinkler from front to back. The way I saw it was, if they just set it up in the back garden, that would, all they had to do was turn the tap on. And they struggled with that, if I'm honest. I'm hoping the front, well, it's raining now, so as long as I can get a couple of hours of dryness to sort of create a sort of a seed bed of sorts, and then get some seed in the ground, a bit of soil on top, we're good to go with that. So I'll do that on Wednesday, so that's actually in theory made life a lot easier. She did want a reminder of the quote, so I'm just going to have to get that over to her, so hopefully she'll see that and get back to me before Wednesday. Hopefully tomorrow's good and that should work out okay. I mean, I don't mind rain, but absolute torrential rain is a bit too much sometimes. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Morning, it's Tuesday, so this is my third attempt of trying to do this video, and every time I do it, someone else comes out of the house and tries to talk to me. So anyway, probably best day of the week. Blue sky, sun's would be out, but it's not quite up yet. And we're going to be doing lawn care on this very kind of autumny. A lot of leaves have kind of sort of blown off. Well, I took the dew off first, and with that I've removed some of the leaves as well, which was needed. This lawn here, this is the front. Interestingly, so definitely needs a feed. Quite a bit of red thread in there. You can see this is all burnt down here, but it looks as though this has been pressure washed and probably had some chemical on it, which has spilled over. Now, this bit here always struggled. But that hedge came, well, you can see it came all the way around here. So this got absolutely no light, no air movement, and you can just see now that grass is now coming back in. So this is fantastic. So it's just opened it up. So there was another holly here which came right out almost over the path a little bit here, so it's done quite well. So anyway, this is the garden, and yeah, we're going to do aeration and a feed, and then we're going to go just down the road and do another one. So it's perfect. And make the most of it. Tomorrow is just a turfing job. I did say about doing a renovation on the front lawn. I had done in the springtime, I'd done the back lawn. However, I contacted them to just say, look, are you still happy to go ahead with the front lawn? They said, oh, what was the quote on it? I said, actually, I didn't do a quote at the time. I just gave you a quote for the seasonal lawn care for both lawns and the renovation at the back. So I knocked them out a quick quote for the front for the renovation, just because there's extra soil and seed and stuff like that. And then they replied and said basically they weren't going to go ahead because they were moving, but they were hoping to move to a much bigger garden, or a house with a much bigger garden, and they would like to continue my services. So anyway, I managed to nab a photo of the back, which I will show you now, and I'll try and find a photo of what it did look like originally. May not have that, but hey, it's green. It's how I expected it to look. So so it's better than it was. So we're not doing that one, so it's just turfing tomorrow. It's a very small job, which is fine, because I've had a lot of inquiries. Now, to those inquiries, I've been saying, look, I can't get to you till the end of November. We probably won't be able to do any seeding or that kind of full renovation, but there's certainly stuff we can do, whether it's a treatment, a bit of aeration or something. Would you still like me to come in and quote the work quote, and would you still like me to come in to have a look at the lawn and give you a quote for some potential work? And a lot of people have said, yeah, fine. They appreciate they've left it far too late, but they're happy. So what it's done is it's given me an opportunity to go out and do some of those quotes. I've probably got, well, it depends. I've sent that quote out for that lawn I went and looked at last Monday. I'm waiting to hear back on that. That will be 2 days of work if that comes in. Now, I haven't heard anything yet. I'll give them the week. I always give them a week before I chase them up. I suspect what they're probably doing now is going out and seeing some other quotes and things like that, perhaps. So I'll let them do that. Now, if that one comes back, that's probably only going to give me 6 days between now and Christmas, which are unaccounted for. However, some of them are. I do have regular leaf clearance jobs in December, which will probably come in there. So actually, really not got that much space left between now and Christmas, which is pretty cool. You know, it's quite nice to relax and just go, you're sort of sorted. And if there will be some weather gaps in there, so actually some of those days, some of those accounted days will be lost to weather, so they'll fall back onto some of those free days. So it's probably, in reality, am probably fully booked till Christmas. Anyways, right, I've taken the dew off here, so I'm going to get the aerator out and make a mess, or aerate, either of the two. Okay, so I've just done the hollow cord, the front lawns. I'm just going to leave this to dry out now. If there was a chance of rain, I would clear this up now before it makes a mess. But I just want to show you this area here. Now this area here, obviously you can see it's quite patchy. If we go over here, you can see that it's it needs a feed, but it's not patchy or anything. So if we just take a couple of cores here and bring them over here as well. Now, this is quite sandy, so what will happen is, a good way to know whether it's sandy or clay soil is just roll it between your fingers, and if the stuff crumbles, it's pretty sandy. If you could roll it into a ball, it's very clay. Somewhere in the middle is probably more where you want to be. Now you can see the colour of this, it's quite dark and it feels damp too. Now, bearing in mind we had yesterday, it rained for, I don't know, 12 hours solid probably. So there's a lot of thatch in there. You can see, so the thatch goes, there's an inch of thatch in that. Now, we'll just put those there for a minute. Now, if we look here where it's very bare, if we take that core, you can instantly see the difference. Yes, there's still a bit of thatch, but can you see how dry this is? Okay, and as I crumble it, it all just crumbles into dust. Here's another one. You can see also the cores aren't that long, because as they've come out, they've just kind of crumbled because there's no stability in the sand to hold it together. So it's no surprise that this area here is really patchy, but equally it's bone dry as well. So what we've done is, by taking the cores out, we've relieved a little bit of compaction. The rain can literally get down into the ground now, but also a wetting agent would be perfect here. That's just going to help the water pass through the whole area, because what's happening is the water is now sort of repelling off of that patch there, and it's not getting into the ground and into the soil to help feed the plant via the roots. Okay, so that's the back done. Interestingly, you've got kind of two separate things going on here. You've got this part of the lawn that's actually very bare, as you can see, but equally there's quite a bit of moisture in the ground. Now, if I stand here and I turn you straight up, it goes straight into under the hedge. So it's the hedge line, and you've got overhanging, so you're probably not getting any rain in there as such. Then you step out to this bit where it's bone dry, and if I take you up, we've obviously got much more light, and you can see here this, bearing in mind, as I say, we had 12 hours of, oh there you go, sorry, we had 12 hours of rain yesterday. This is absolutely dry as a bone, and you can just see that in the colour difference. So on to the next lawn now. As I say, it's just round the corner. Had a little bit of rain come in just as I was spraying some of the weeds which were kicking around. Doesn't look good, but we'll just sort of play it by ear. So there's the signs it needs to feed. I can see that in the little bits of red thread in there. Could do with a cut as well. I assume something's been left there for that to be quite a sort of a square, if you like. This will be fun. There you go. Looks like a, what's it look like, an anchor? A spade? Bottle opener with a cork on the end. I don't know. Brilliant. Morning. So Wednesday today. So Wednesday is a turfing job, very small job. I did some turfing in the summer, and I think the client then saw a social post about that and then contacted me straight away. And I said, actually, I'm probably going to be fully booked now till well, October, at the very, very earliest. So if you want to get it done, feel free to get it done. But if you can wait, then we'll see what we can. But be aware that in September, if there's lots of rain, those jobs will get pushed back. So although I'm saying October, it could be November. Anyways, got it booked in for today, so all's good. Now, when I quoted this lawn, it was almost like thigh high, the grass. It's a tiny little lawn. It's about 14.5 square meters. So the other thing about this lawn, which is a bit rare other than it being like tiny small, is that it's a terraced house. Now, I don't know how this is going to come across, but generally when I see terraced houses, I'm not interested at all. And it's mainly an access issue. I've had people before who are expecting me to take the mowers and strimmers and blowers through the house on on a kind of a fortnightly basis, and it's just like the reality of you being in every time I come to cut is slim to none, plus the mud and the crap that you're dragging through the house. I'm not interested in it. Also is access. I've had it before where you have to kind of go through everyone else's gardens to get to the garden you want, and everyone's garden who you go through hates it, so they are not interested in this happening at all. So and then they come out and they moan about it and stuff like that. So, or you've got to go around the side of the end house and down an alleyway, and you've got to carry everything round, and you get the turf delivered to the front of the house, but you've got to barrow it all the way around all the houses. Just not interested at all. However, this one is, I'll show you. So here's the van, and here's a car park. It's actually for an old people's home, I think, but the garden's actually here. I wasn't sure which one it was, but fortunately I found it's this one. She trimmed it down. I don't know if it's a lawn that she's inherited or not, but anyway, it's been trimmed down. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a bit of soil, I've got my turfing boards, etc. So I'm going to get rid of them and leave them here, and then I'm going to go and get a turf cutter and the turf. The plan originally was for the turf to be just dropped off at my house, but then I changed the plan to, I was actually going to do a white house and then drive past the turf factory, turf place, or factory, they just and drive past the turf place and collect the turf on the way here, and then do this one sort of in the afternoon. Obviously with the rain and everything, it's all changed around, so now what I'm doing is, annoyingly, I ordered the turf to pick as a pickup, so I'm now going to have to go to the depot and get it. So that's a bit annoying, but as I say, because of the weather on Monday, the plan has changed a couple of times since ordering it, so it is what it is. Anyway, for the minute, I'm just going to get these boards out. Those bags of soil, don't know if I need them, but if I do, just to help level things up, then I've got them. I think I've got about 5 or 6 bags in there. Anyways, right, get unloaded. Okay, so all sort of removed-ish. Just needed a bit of a tidy up, just with a fan rake to get the little bits out. Now I can tell by the cat flap over there that there's cats in this garden, and not that I've only seen one, but all this garden stinks of cat shit. It's disgusting. As I say, I haven't come across any except one, and I was able to blow that off into the undergrowth over there. So I guess that's the thing, isn't it? It's also has been really long grass, so fortunately I didn't have to deal with that. Anyways, right, so what we're going to do now is, I would normally, I can't get the hole so close to it, I can't get it all in. What I would normally do is bring a rotavator in, and if you've taken the lawn off, you may as well turn the whole thing over. But to be perfectly honest, by the time you've got the rotavator in here and you've turned it on, you're only going to go 2 yards and you'll have to turn it back off again, or risk going through a fence panel. So I'm just going to basically give it a real heavy rake, fork it over in areas, and just try and break up that compaction, but also so I can kind of move the soil around. It does slope down this way. To get it level from off of this line here, you can see the drop away there, how far it drops away. The only way you would be able to level this lawn up is to bring this up significantly, probably about a foot to here. Now that's not my department, that would involve either sleeper walls or a brick. I could probably do sleeper walls, but I certainly wouldn't be looking to do any brick work. And certainly with the time I have available, you know, this is the lawn care season, so it's something I wouldn't want to get involved in, but I've explained this to the client in the quote that is the case, that the lawn will slope down, but you can see how it kind of slopes and then comes back up. What I'll be looking to do is just kind of sort of level that bit so it's kind of a consistent sort of from top to bottom. So what I'll do is move the soil around, or sorry, fork it over, rake it over, try and get it as level as possible, as in not bumpy and stuff, and then add soil where's needed, but I'll try and get the original stuff as level as possible first. So I've managed to, obviously we've got that sort of drop off, but I've managed to distribute the soil around. There was loads in that corner, much higher than the actual patio stones, so I've managed to drag all that sort of diagonally and down and what have you, and it's actually leveled it, obviously on the slant, but like a straight drop rather than all over the place. So what I'm going to do is, now I've sort of raked it in various directions and stuff, I'm now going to tread it in. So I think that's probably as good as we're going to get it. As I say, it is a straight down now, and there's no sort of down and ruts or anything that's been trod in. It's been raked multiple times. So it's the devil's in the detail, isn't it? So what we'll do is we'll start with our turf. We're going to stripe it up and down so you can see it from the window. We'll start here, as this is the most important edge, and then we'll work that way. That way also we can put the boards on it, walk on it, press it down. And then if we have to end up with a quarter or a half or a third of a strip should I say, it will be up there, and that's going to be the less sort of visible. If you imagine you come in from the gate, the first thing you see is that, so you want to see nice big stripes, and the one over there is the less important stripe, so that will be the half stripe or whatever it may be when we get there. Okay, so now we've kind of got that effect that we want, is from here as you come in you see the stripes, it's all good, and then we've got the little edge there. So this is I'm going to show you how I will do this, because there's a couple of ways. But what I want to do is try and keep all edges as straight as possible, if I can help it. So I'll just get I've got 3 turfs left. I only need 2.5. So, I mean, you've got that little bit of waste down there and that sliver there. Okay, so because of the way, has that worked? Because we're about to create more. As I say, many ways you can do this. This is how I do it. So I butt everything up, bring it back nicely. Right to the end. Now we've got a couple of options. One is to use an edging iron and go straight down the edge, but I find it causes so much disruption to the soil underneath. It makes a bloody mess. I much prefer a saw. Now what I would say is a pruning saw would be better, because the teeth are a lot more bigger and can bite it better. But I'm not ruining a good saw for a turfing job, so this is the saw I had kicking around. Although I say that, this has been my turfing saw for quite a while now. Just going through this. All the way to the end. And all we're going to do, might have to just move the board back slightly. So lift this up, pull this out, and this butts back up perfectly. And what you've got is you've got your perfect edge, because this is pre-cut turf. You've got your perfect edge from there, and everything goes together really nicely. All done. Just one thing with this garden is it doesn't have an outside hose. So what I have done is, not that it's really an issue now, because it's going to be torrential rain tonight by all accounts. I did give a link of a hose lock attachment so that the client can water the lawn using her tap. The only thing I do here is normally, as you can just see, I mean this will wash off by tonight, but I've blown it off as much as I can. But normally I'd sort of hose this off, but obviously I can't get any access to water, so it kind of is what it is, unfortunately. But yeah, all done. So hopefully the client will be very pleased. Now I'm going to go and get rid of the turf cutter, and then I'm going to pick up a mower, then I'm going to go to a quote, and then I'm going to go and cut the last lawn I'd normally do on the Thursday, because if tomorrow's rain is as bad as it is, I can't be sitting at home this afternoon twiddling my thumbs when there's a good chance I'll be at home tomorrow twiddling my thumbs. So yeah, we're going to go and get that one done. At least with the other ones, there's other stuff I could do, whether it's cutting down really long grass or I don't know. I've got options, but this one is just a mow, and obviously, as you know, I've seeded it recently. So just checking I've got everything. So I wouldn't want the seed to be really wet and sort of ruin it. So yeah, so that's the plan. So right, what's gone from quite relaxed has actually ended up being quite busy. So we've managed to get this one cut. Light is beginning to go now, but it's certainly going to be easier doing it now than in a torrential rain and storm and whatever else of whatever tomorrow brings. Now I'll just quickly show you the front. It's a side-to-side cut, so you can't see it from here. It's coming in nicely. We've obviously had that bit of rain. Just where you can see there's like a poor area there and stuff. So what I'm going to do is just chuck a bit of seed down just to hopefully bulk out those areas a bit. But generally, it's coming in nicely. We've got this poor area here where all this, well, it gets I obviously push the mower across it, and then this was all right out here, and it was basically right underneath it, so there was no light or anything. I'm just going to quickly scratch that up and just chuck the offcuts I've got down there, just to, why not? It's got to go somewhere, isn't it? So yeah, that's what I'm going to do while I've got that last bit of light. Thursday, so it's been a little bit windy, but we had some rain overnight, but nothing crazy. And it's, I mean, I've been here for a couple of hours now, and it's not been raining. Show you the hill in the distance. A little bit of drizzle driving here, but basically it's just been on leaves. A little bit of strimming on one area that I hadn't been able to do for a long time because the gate was blocked. But yeah, not quite the weather we thought we were going to get. But had I not got one of today's lawns cut yesterday, we definitely would be in a problem right now. Here, so basically we've got all these steps coming up here, and then you've got that gate there. Now this roof's been retiled, and all the tiles were put over here, so I just couldn't get the mower in. Annoyingly, the blade engaged belt on the Time Master snapped. Probably my fault trying to get it to do too much work, because the grass was so thick. I should have put it on a higher setting. If you remember last year, I can't do this one-handed. There we go. Looked it. That was the problem. I was trying to pull the gate and turn that at the same time. Yeah, so that's snapped. So I've already ordered one. I don't need that mower until Wednesday now, so I've got it ordered. Should arrive between Friday and Saturday, so plenty of time to get it fixed. I did order some spare belts, but I think I just used them all. I think I've got one belt left, and that's actually the drive, the transport belt, if you like, the one which powers the wheels. So that ain't no good to me. So you can hear the wind, sort of see the wind in the trees. Nothing major. So anyways, I don't know what time is now. It must be about 12 o'clock, and I've only got one to do. So because I had to do a dump run as well, I haven't got the hater mower, I just didn't have room and I didn't have the trailer here. So I'm not going to be able to cut the front lawn as I would normally do at the second house on the Thursday. So it's just going to be blowing leaves, I think, probably blowing acorns and maybe a bit of mowing with a John Deere. No idea where this storm Benjamin is the worst storm ever. The lamest storm ever, should I say. So anyways, yeah, just putting these stripes back in. They've really sort of stood out, and as you remember last week I said they weren't standing out like sort of, it was after a week's growth the lines had gone. They're now back in after a week, so that's good. That's what I want. So now they're in. Next week I'll do the diagonal on that side. But I mean, God, look at the sky. This was supposed to be torrential rain. Morning, Friday. It's a cold one, 3 degrees, but it's a fantastic one. Fantastic autumn morning. Sun's actually not proper up over the houses and trees yet, so that's why it's so cold at the moment. The rain we've had's been really good, so you can see this lawn's really thickened up now, as has, well, this one as well. And I've driven past the other two that I'll go to later. So yeah, they've really filled in nicely now. So now obviously I've just been round with the blower, getting the majority of the leaves tidied away or blown out onto the lawn to be sucked up by the mower. So busy day as always. Hopefully the majority of the acorns are down now, because that's just been really dull collecting acorns. I have in some cases just made piles of them, which once the sort of all the mowing aspect of the year is done, probably sort of late November, I'll really look to sort of pick up and collect and things. But obviously, you know, the amount of oak trees in these gardens, you could spend hours and hours just doing acorns, but I need to cut the grass, so sometimes you just have to prioritize and things. Okay, so you can see striped up nicely. The gardeners have been in actually, and they've cut this this lavender back, so that's created a load of gaps all the way down where it's obviously overgrown. I tend to not bother doing too much about that. I mean, we can chuck some seed down, but essentially it's just going to die off again tomorrow, next season, when it all sort of grows as well. Just sort of take those areas as they are. It'd be different if you were cutting it back and you were keeping it back, but they're not going to be. So yeah, all striped up nicely. Again, all striped up. This is definitely coming in now, where it's sat dormant for ages, so that's cool. So there we go. As you can see, things are now beginning to happen. It's taken so long, but anyway, we're there, sort of back where we want to be. It is the perfect autumn day. Little chill in the air, sun shines up, perfect. And as you can see over here, we've got some stripes, all that's pushing away. And also, if you remember, like the whole of September, it seemed like this was just dropping pine needles. You know, there's a big thick, you know, like collection of the ground, and you can see that sort of area there. That was purely where the needles were just blocking out all light and air and stuff. The seed that I've put down is now slowly beginning to work, and I think that's purely because it gets a week with some air and some light and some moisture now, and it's not being blocked out by needles. So we're getting there slowly. Okay, 4:45, all done. It's going to be very interesting next week to see what it is light-wise, because obviously the clocks fall back on Sunday, so remember that. Anyways, I only cut the front. I seeded the back lawn at this property, this one here, you might recognise. I seeded this lawn on Saturday, the back, so I didn't want to sort of affect the seed or anything. And it sort of, there's a little bit of rain came in and went, so the seed's damp as well, so I don't want it sticking to the tyres of the tractor and then lifting up and things like that. So I actually, as I keep talking about making these piles of acorns, I actually used this opportunity to, on the back, to start picking up some of those piles, so that worked quite well. I've got striped up, so it's still a bit poor there, but it's coming back in nicely, so I'm pretty pleased with that one. I've actually left a fuel can up at the first house, so you can see this is sort of coming in nicely too. So yeah. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. So it's been a bit of a hectic afternoon actually, because what I've been doing is obviously trying to get the work done, but a company that has it's a building company essentially, they've contacted me a couple of times this year. The first time was right in the heart of the sort of springtime seeding jobs, and that was to do some turfing on 2 properties next door to each other. So essentially it was one big lawn, and then I guess a fence went down the middle. But timing wise, I couldn't make it work. And actually I think they had, by the looks of it, they had a lot of delays on it anyway, so maybe I could have helped. And they also contacted me about a flailing job, which I spoke about on here before, which didn't happen, just because of the ecological inspection or something, timing wasn't quite right. Anyway, they've contacted me again about another flailing job. It's a little bit out of my service area, but it's about 12 acres, so I've just been trying to sort of work out roughly how I would sort of how I'd be able to do that. And it's not just a case of doing it. I mean, all I can do is put a price in. Whether they go for it or not is up to them, but we just have to wait and see on that. So I've now got the details of where it is and things like that. I could never quote that blindly. I need to go and have a look at it. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to do that, but we shall see. Anyways, hope you've enjoyed the week. See you next week. Short week for me. Got a day off on Tuesday actually, so it's only a 4-day week. Very nice. All right, see you next week.